Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Deal, a podcast where we go deeper than the numbers and we explore the habits, mindset shifts, and mental frameworks that lead to success in life and business. My name is Michael Wagman, and in today's special compilation episode, we're diving into the routines and rituals that fuel high performance. You'll hear from 6 entrepreneurs who share how they manage their energy, protect their mindset, and stay grounded while building big visions. We're covering everything from morning routines and mental conditioning to fitness transformation, social media discipline, and even finding purpose after financial freedom. So, whether you're in the trenches of building your business or looking for a more intentional way to operate, this episode will help you think clearer, perform better, and stay aligned with what matters most. So let's get into it. What do you do on a daily basis right now? If you're managing all of this fund and all of this stress, how are you staying sane? And how are you managing your day in these current economic times?
Yeah, so I'm actually not a very stressed out person, and I didn't start out that way. I was super stressed out when I was working in the law firm. And I think over the years, it's just incorporating a lot of good practices as daily habits. So, for example, I do a lot of yoga. I work out with a trainer twice a week. I pursue my hobbies, like I go travel or I go for walks in nature. So I think dedicating time to yourself is very important in terms of keeping yourself sane and just dedicating time for wellness. Because if you're not well, like you're the vessel for creation, right? Or a vessel for performance. But if you're not well, how can you expect good performance to come from yourself, right? So same thing, like if you have all these programs on your smartphone, but if your phone is outdated, right? It's on, I don't know, we're now at iPhone 16, but if you're running an iPhone 8, you're not going to be able to contain all these different programs. So I think that the software, soft content has to work with the updated hardware, right? So I think we all have kind of human operating systems, so we have to constantly update that. So I really prioritize making sure that I'm in the right performance state in order to get good performance out of myself, right? So it's daily habits like meditation. I mean, everyone has their own thing, but I do all these things I mentioned. I have habits, like, for example, I forbid myself on logging onto social media, even though I get a lot of news from Instagram, but I just, won't let myself look at Instagram before noon because I think I work really well in the morning. So I want to preserve my brain state to be at a very high performing frequency. So, getting into social media, starting to read the news, that's all very negative, right? And in the morning, there's just different things I do to make sure that I'm starting the day right. And then I have afternoon practices and evening practices.
Okay, perfect. So I couldn't agree more. I actually have an app on my phone. I am not allowed to even open social media if it's not between the hours of 6:30 and 8:30 p.m. And I have to get all of my social media completely done in those hours for the entire day. So if anybody's been reaching out to me on social media, I apologize. It's not your fault.
Nice.
I swear I'm not looking.
Nice.
And I absolutely love the morning routine thing. Have you ever read the book Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod?
Yeah, I read that many years ago. Yeah. Very good book.
So what are you doing right now to get yourself in the prime mindset for success in the mornings?
Actually, I have a scorecard. So I'm looking at it right in front of me, and I actually document my scorecard and see how I'm doing from week to week. So I think first in the morning, I wake up and I do gratitude practice. So I think of 3 things I'm grateful for. So these could be like super simple things, like waking up to, I'm very fortunate. So I wake up to the sounds of bird chirping. So that's something that's so simple and I can always take for granted and ignore it. But just something like that, something very small that I can feel grateful for, I think is very important to wake up with gratitude. And then I'm doing something called the lofty questions. So this is an exercise that helps you transform your identity. So for example, whatever you're working on, if you want to become a certain way, you have to first buy into the identity or internalize the identity of yourself. So for example, let's say if I used to have bad eating habits, but now I want to have a certain type of wellness or fitness goals, and I want to become someone that doesn't binge on sugar or carbs, then I have a question I would ask myself, well, why do I always make the best food choices for my body? And I have these questions, lofty questions, and they change every quarter. And I actually record this on my voice memo app. And then I ask all these questions in different areas of life that helps me transform my understanding of myself. So in order to achieve something you haven't achieved, you have to first actually become that identity. This lofty questions, and you can Google this, I didn't invent this, help you transform your understanding of self. So I'm experimenting with that this year. I have a Lumen device that measures carb versus fat burn. So I measure that first thing in the morning. I do my supplementation, take probiotics and this and that. So for that's first thing in the morning, I do some sort of movement. So either I work out my trainer, sometimes I'll do some yoga, some stretching. And then I listen to some type of podcast or some type of like motivational something. It could be like a Tony Robbins priming exercise. So I call that morning energy conditioning, like energetic conditioning. So I'm conditioning my mind for the better frequency, and then before I start work at my desk, I take 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes, to prioritize my day. Like I write down the 3 things that could move the needle. So if I did nothing else for today, accomplish nothing else, those 3 things need to be done, and I stick to them. So those are my morning routines.
Absolutely fantastic. I hope everybody listening has a pen and paper and wrote all that down. You mentioned earlier that you are very social media averse. I personally view it as a necessary evil, and I certainly have addictive tendencies. So if I get on there, I might end up scrolling for 2-3 hours, and I have apps on my phone which actually only let me access social media between certain hours of the day. So do you find that you have any sort of temptation there, or you are really sort of clean of it?
Yeah, this is really funny because I work for the social media
Right.
giant. So it's pretty ironic. Reels is really addicting. Like whatever we do at work, they should keep doing that because that stuff's like drugs, but it's crazy addictive. I did some calculation at some point where like every minute you spend on social media for the entire year, that comes out to 6 hours. So I try to just do that same calculation in my mind where if I'm scrolling through, I'm like, hey, this isn't just 1 minute now, it's 1 minute every day. That's 6 minutes or 6 hours a year. Like, what could I be doing with that time otherwise? I do have a screen limit on Instagram of like 15 minutes a day. And the other thing that I think that helps is I turn my phone onto grayscale. So yeah, colors are very addictive. So if you just turn everything to grayscale, black and white, I get annoyed looking at my phone now because it's a little difficult to look at what's what. So I only use it if I need to get a hold of someone or send out an email really quick or anything like that.
That's a really good tip. I think it was Hormozy was the first person I saw say
I'm a
that.
big Hormozy guy. Yeah, I love Hormozy.
So yeah, if you turn off the color on your phone, it becomes insanely less appealing to use all the time. So that could be a great tip for our listeners. I'm a big believer in personal routines, morning routines, nighttime routines, physical and mental health. So what are you doing these days to manage your stress, to stay healthy, to stay the sharpest version of yourself that you need to be able to perform at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. First is sleep. So I try and always go to sleep around the same time, no later than 10. Then every single morning when I wake up, try not to touch my phone at all. I know it's really hard, so I started adding like that time blocker on the phone. Not touch the phone. I usually wake up with no alarm clock, so I let my body tell me when I need to wake up. And as soon as I stand up, I grab a coffee. I'm using this mushroom coffee now, and I'm going to my balcony, sit down in the same chair, and that's my morning routine. That's when it starts. I drinking my coffee, I have a journal with me, and I start writing the things I'm grateful for. So put grateful, and I make a list of all the stuff I'm grateful for. I then write what I'm grateful for that I don't yet have that I want to have, but I'm writing it like I already have it. So I'm grateful for X, and those are my goals. So I'm not talking about my goals like there's something in the future or away from me. I'm actually writing them like they already happen, and I'm being grateful for it. I'm feeling the emotion, because that's one of the biggest thing about manifesting is you need to feel it. It's not just words. It's the feeling that you attach to those words and actually feeling and embodying that. So what I'm grateful for, great gratitude for the intention that I have. And then I write down what are 3 to 5 things I can get done today in order to reach those goals that I have. And that sets my agenda for today. If I'm feeling any stress or thoughts, I write them all out because it helps clear my mind. So for me, like journaling's been huge. I also allocate time for thinking time during the week, and that's been a game changer for me. But then after that journal, I close the journal out and I'll do a 5 to 10 minute meditation, breathing exercises, some visualization, and then I'll start my day. And I think that's key. Like it might take you 30, 40 minutes in the morning, but you shouldn't start your day fighting fires. Like, you should not just grab your phone and start answering emails as soon as you wake up. That's probably the worst way you can possibly do things.
That is gold. Absolute gold. Hey, really quick, I hope you're enjoying this episode. I just wanted to stop for a second and thank our sponsor, which is me. Nimble Capital Group is my boutique investment firm where we help passive investors access deals built for cash flow, equity growth, and powerful tax benefits. And if you think you've ever wanted to learn how to raise capital and become a GP yourself, I coach a select group of students each month, most of whom will raise over $500,000 within their first 60 days. So check the show notes in the description below to book a call. I'll see you there. What does your day look like? How do you maintain normalcy? How do you keep balance? How do you maintain a positive mindset going through all these swings that we go through as entrepreneurs?
For sure. So, for me, big time, the mental health and physical health are tied directly to for me, it all starts with the physical health. I would say, so I have a 2.5-year-old, and before he came, I lost 40 pounds. And prior to that point in time, it was of depression, anxiety overload, and it was all connected to how I was treating myself, I would say. And I'm big on mindset. I hire coaches, love therapy and things like that. But I quickly realized a lot of, and this won't be for everybody, but I realized a lot of that was directly tied to what I was eating and not working out and all of these things. So, me and my wife very recently got massively on the same page. She's up at 4:30 and then she's up at 4 and then I'm up at 5. She goes to the gym, comes back, and then I go to the gym while our son is sleeping. And it's all part of a routine for me. I'm a very big routine guy. Didn't realize that until recently. I always thought I was this spontaneous individual until I started getting away from routine. And I was like, I can't live like this. And so it's just become integrated into our life. We're also very big on food. We're the crunchy family, all organic, all whole foods type of family. And I'll tell you one thing, I was not like that. I was a degenerate partier in the past. And but you kind of realize, again, it really boiled down to, yes, the business, but also my son. I didn't want to be the one saying that he should eat and do a certain thing without doing it. And so now that became more and more towards well, I can't tell him he can't eat it and then I'm eating it. It's got to be aligned there.
So was the catalyst the pregnancy? Was it leading up to it? You said, we're going to have a family now, and so it's time to get my act together? Or was it just the moment he was born, you were like, let's go?
No, it was the pregnancy. I hired a virtual trainer while my wife was pregnant. It's kind of funny. The amount of weight she put on, I lost. So it's a contentious point. And I bring that up all the time to her, but it was just, I don't know if that's what triggered it. I think I was just sick of it. I had sleep apnea and I was just miserable. And I was like, you can't live like this. I was just not in a good place. And so I finally started taking it seriously. And I would say, health-wise, everything changed. You go from, I don't know how deep you want to get into this, but labs in the red, high blood pressure, all of these things. And it's well, maybe you shouldn't eat 42 wings on a random weeknight. And yeah, that's what I had to change.
And so, and then the real correlation that I want to extrapolate from this is you get your physical health together. What starts happening with your business and your routine and your mindset every day?
I'd say the negativity. All right. I think in all areas of entrepreneurship, you'll lose the mental game before you'll lose the tactical game any day of the week, meaning your bad days are going to happen at the worst times. And it's effectively how you manage your thoughts during that point in time, right? Your car will break down. You'll find out your wife is pregnant. You'll get on social media and everyone you did better than is outperforming you while you're having trouble with this. It's all going to happen at once. And I think that the mental side of things is so much heavier than actual strategy when you're on this island and you're driving into something that you truly, truly believe in, but honestly hasn't been proven yet. And so you have to go in that with a mental state that won't get derailed at every little thing, because everything in this is essentially a challenge you're solving, right? That's what we're trying to do is this is a challenge, right? We're seeking out issues, we're seeking out challenges, and we're seeking to solve those things. Those challenges you're seeking are not, oh, everyone's excited about them, right? They're not easy things to manage. And so the physical side of things gets under control. That leads into the mental side of things. And the mental side of things, I feel personally, is what drives everything else. It drives your ability to like push through negativity, push through uncertainty, push through insecurity. So like you can continue on your vision, like during those roadblocks.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more, because I think of things that I deal with now on a day-to-day basis. If you think you've been stressed before, try raising $5 million in a 3-month period.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things become normal. But like, I used to get stressed out about nothing, right? And so the longer you're in this, the more you can deal with, the more you can shoulder. It's not like it gets easier. It never gets easier, but you just get stronger. You get capable of handling more. Life's going to keep throwing everything at you relentlessly all the time.
Relentlessly,
That's not about to change, right? But you can handle it. Let me ask you a question. How do you sleep? Because personally, I can't turn it off. I don't know if you can, right? Once you strike out on your own, right? You might wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that, right? There isn't really a turning it off button, but are you able to? And how do you manage separating life and business?
Yeah, it's only like every night that I wake up at 2 a.m., that popcorn brain, something's coming out. So it's all right. So I'll journal, to get back to sleep. Like, okay, what's on my mind? Let's put it on paper, because I've got ideas and things that, oh gosh, I forgot I need to do this, or this needs attention. So I've got a journal right by my bed so I can write it down so that I can rest and say, I've got it down on paper. I know tomorrow I'm going to hit that, and I won't forget, and that really helps. But it's like on the weekends, I can sleep all the way through, but usually not on the weekdays, because I am always thinking about what to do. But exercise helps.
I love that tip about the journal. I might actually put that into practice myself. Certainly also much better to look at a piece of paper rather than your cell phone at 2 a.m, right? But are there any sort of other tips or tricks or habits that you've put into place over the course of these last 15 years that have become sort of transformative to your routine into sort of maintaining a healthy mindset in the course of your business?
Yeah, I think before I wasn't really into physical fitness. I was never an athlete or anything like this. And so, but what I realized early on as an entrepreneur, I would ask myself, well, what is an entrepreneur? What do they do? And how do I meet that kind of avatar of being an entrepreneur? And everybody I knew who was successful was hitting the gym every day, And so that's something I added to my routine. First, twice a week, 3 times a week. Now I'm in 5 days a week. And last year I started a step challenge. So I've gone through phase 1, and then we had a month off. Now I'm in phase 2 of a step challenge to get basically 10,000 steps in a day, plus hitting the gym 3 days a week and eating my ideal body weight in grams of protein. So it's getting more difficult as I go forward, but I've dropped some weight. I'm probably, physically fit. And that's great, because for the mental clarity that you need to run a business, it's just really the first thing you have to put on your list, I believe.
You retired. You actually did it. You moved to the beach in Hawaii. You were living the retirement life, and then it got boring, right? So talk us through that a little bit. You chose to go back to work even though you didn't have to. What does it look like different this time? What are you prioritizing this time? Obviously, you've got a beautiful family. I know you want to spend time with them. You've even started this group about how to be a better father. So can you talk us through sort of the mindset of all of that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very common among the post-exit founders. It's a very common theme where when they sell their company, they think there's this euphoria, this big hoopla, fireworks, confetti coming down, excitement. And then they take some time to travel. They take some time to enjoy themselves and chill. But then after a while, they start feeling this emptiness and then this like loss of purpose. Because I think as entrepreneurs, what makes us unique, what makes us push through obstacles, what makes us build what we do is we truly have a sense of purpose, a sense of solving big problems, a sense of like helping people grow and transform. That's what makes it worth it. The money is a reward, but it's a way to keep the score, but it's really not the driver. When you strip everything away, what you find is that the thing that all great entrepreneurs enjoy from building business is that mentorship that they have for their people and that transformation that they have on their clients and that collaboration and the relationship they have with their suppliers and with the whole ecosystem. And then once that's gone, there's a lack of fulfillment. Like, who am I? What am I? What's my point? What's the purpose of me existing? And I think entrepreneurs need something that's bigger than them, bigger than themselves to work toward, to make an impact on the world.
That is Absolutely fantastic. And I could not agree more. And I'm still pre-exit, but I couldn't imagine a life where I wasn't building something, right?
Yes.
Where the reward is the creation itself. It's about the journey. And I've often heard, like, if you want to be happy, you just stop moving the goalpost, right? You just stop where you are. But for me, that wouldn't be happy. That would be nothing, right? We need to keep setting our sights further and building more. And I think that is part of what it means to truly be an entrepreneur is the creation of something, anything.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you can be happy wherever you are. I mean, happiness is an inside game. It has nothing to do with external things. It's like, it's within you. You decide, that you're going to be happy in the moment, at whatever stage you are. Anything external has nothing to do with how you feel about yourself from the inside. And so for me, happiness is an inside game. The game that we play on the outside is a growth game. So how far are we growing? And then it's a contribution game. So how much impact are we making on the world? And those are 3 different games that you play in 3 different ways. And you can play all 3 of them at the same time, but you need to know what game you're playing, so you're not confusing the 2.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Beyond the Deal. I hope you got some valuable insights that you can apply to your own investing journey. Now, if you've enjoyed this conversation, do me a favor, hit that follow button, leave a review, and share this episode with somebody who you think could benefit from it. It really helps the show grow and bring on even more incredible guests. If you want to go deeper, make sure to follow me on your socials. You can find the links in the show notes in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, keep going beyond the deal.